You know, you guys watched it just like I did, and certainly we all picked Alabama to win the game. I picked them to win by 10 points. I did not see this coming. You know, 42-14. I picked it 23-13. It was really never a ball game. I mean, honestly, it was a slow downhill punishment. 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Then Alabama scores on the first play of the second quarter. It's 21-0. The ball game was over. I mean, Notre Dame was done. I mean, even if Alabama had not scored another point, they had enough to win it right there. But they continued, 28-0 in half. Notre Dame, 35-0 first possession of the third quarter. Notre Dame got to 35-7. They come right back and make it 42-7. Notre Dame adds one late, 42-14. But it was total annihilation, complete team effort. Alabama dominated in every phase of the game. That's impressive when you're playing a good team in the regular season. Do it in the BCS championship game, amazing. We'll look at some highlights in a moment, but first we're going to just talk about it because, you know, again, we all expected Alabama to win the game, but to do it in this kind of dominating fashion against the #1 team in the country who was undefeated, and for it never really to be a competitive game, it's as impressive a performance as I've seen by Alabama under the circumstances, and they've had a lot. Let's just tell it like it is. Nick Saban he's the best. He's the best in college football right now, and the D word's being thrown around, and it should be. This is a modern-day college football dynasty.
Well, let's talk about, you know, what this means tonight. There are some history made here.
A lot of history. First of all, it's something that Alabama's never done. Coach Bryant won 3 in 5 years, 61, 64, 65. But Alabama's never won 3 in 4 years. It's the first time in the BCS era that a team has repeated. It's the first time in the BCS era that a team has won 3 out of 4. The domination that they've had in the last 2 games over LSU, the #1 ranked team, 21-0, and Notre Dame, the #1 ranked team, 42-14. That's 63-14 in back-to-back years in BCS championship games over #1 undefeated teams.
It's just so incredible, the atmosphere here too in Sun Life Stadium. Alabama fans are not planning on leaving the stadium anytime soon. We can still, I don't know if you can hear it at home, but we're still hearing Roll Tide, Roll Tide.
And you know, there's something similar going on back in Tuscaloosa. The Tuscaloosa Strip going crazy right now.
We got it, don't we?
Yeah, we're going to show you that right now live from our WVUA tower camera, a bird's eye view of that. And, you know, fortunately, this is something we've actually been able to see 3 out of the past 4 years. Really exciting. And the atmosphere here is electric as well.
Funny story, Terri.
And also on the Strip, just off the University of Alabama campus, of course, the Strip is notorious for the place where students go to celebrate, and people just wanting to come out and just share this win with the Alabama Crimson Tide, and just it's a great thing for the University of Alabama, but it's also a great thing for the Tuscaloosa community. Mm-hmm. It's not just students, not just people affiliated with the university, but it's great for the entire town when you have a win like this that means so much. So
some breaking news, if you will, just whispered into my ear from a little bird named Daniel Sparkman. The team is due back in at the airport at 12:45 Central Time, 12:45 Alabama time tomorrow. So I know you're getting used to this, but I'm sure there'll be a huge crowd again out there at the airport tomorrow to greet the team. I'm going to tell you a funny story, Terri. When Lynn and you came on out, we went down on the field for a little while.
Okay, I hate to cut you off, Gary, but I'm told we had the Notre Dame press conference.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to tell that story one of these days.
We're going to pitch that right now, the Notre Dame press conference.
What happened tonight and turn it into a positive so that you can bring a team back here, or at least have a really great chance of bringing a team back to the BCS championship next year?
Well, I think it's easy to look at the positives. First of all, it sets a bar for your entire program. We all now know what we have to do to move from where we are, which was a 12-0 football team, pretty darn good football team, but not good enough. So it's clear what we need to do in the off season. It's clear what we need to do in player development. It's clear what we need to do as we continue to coach better and recruit. So it's a great opportunity that we had here. It's disappointing we lost the football game, but it's going to make my job very easy when it comes to talking to players about how you win a national championship.
Russ Mitchell, College Football News. Coach, can you take us to 2 minutes in the second quarter? It's 4th and 5. You're on the Bama 40-yard line. You decide to go for it. Can you talk a little bit about that call, that play?
Yeah, certainly did not feel at that point that we could give them ball back to Alabama. So just a sense and feeling that we needed to convert there. If we were going to get back in the game, we had to take a shot right there. Again, it didn't work out, and they capitalized on it. But I think at that point it was pretty clear in my mind that we needed to possess the football.
Coach Alan Joseph, The Observer. You mentioned that you saw some positives in today's game. What specifically did you see that you liked?
I mean, the way our guys compete. Now, Alabama was the better football team, but, you know, I love the way our guys kept fighting and kept competing. They didn't quit at all. They understand how to play the game. They played it better. They were the better football team today, but I love the way our guys just kept playing, and there's a number of young guys that got a chance to see that, and Everett talked about it. You know, his motivation in the offseason is going to be to get back to this game. And the experience that he is able to take from this game, you can't duplicate it if you're sitting home or playing in a bowl game. When you're playing for a national championship, that stuff doesn't leave you.
Manti, after all the ups and downs this year, what are your emotions right now? How you feeling?
I'm obviously disappointed. Not necessarily, all that we lost, but just we didn't represent, our school, our team, my families the way that we could have. So in that aspect, it's just disappointing. At the same time, I'm proud to be part of this team. And what doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. And I'm just, this is just the best thing about this experience is it creates fire, it creates fuel for both, the guys staying here and the guys leaving. And everybody here tonight will be better because of it.
Coach Kelly, sorry, over here.
Yes.
How is Capron?
He suffered a significant knee injury.
For Coach Kelly, Chris Thomason, Fox Sports, Alabama became just the 3rd team to win 3 national titles in a 4-year span. Where do you put them in history? Are they just one of the greatest football teams ever in history in your estimation?
Well, I think each year, everybody can do those comparisons. I measure success as a head coach with consistency. And some people use the word dynasty. I look at it as program consistency. Starts at the top and filters its way through the entire program. And what Coach Saban has been able to do is really put an exclamation point on consistently putting elite programs and football teams together at the University of Alabama.
For Manti, I apologize if you heard this before, but can you give me your impression of how good that Alabama offensive line is, and was there anything different or unusual they did coming out of the chute in that first drive?
No, everybody knows about Alabama's offensive line, and they're very big and they're very athletic and very strong. And we battled, and they just did what Alabama does. And like I said, we had opportunities to make plays. We just didn't capitalize on those opportunities.
Coach Kelly, with the way that DeVaris played tonight and with Everett coming back, how optimistic are you that the offense can continue to develop next year?
Well,
all right, I think we're looking right now at the Strip. So you can see, again, that it's party time in T-Town. It's party time here in South Florida. Anywhere there are Alabama fans, I can guarantee you, Terri and Lynn, it's party time. We've got some stats, we've got some highlights coming, but right now, we're going to give you a sneak peek. Hold all this up. This is the official Nike licensed official merchandise, and we've got it in our hands right now. We could had it since this afternoon, courtesy of Dick's Sporting Goods, but it's available at your top sporting goods stores. This is the same apparel that the players have on the field right now. And again, Dick's and others are going to be opening up, selling this merchandise. So, man.
Also, Academy Sports.
It's sharp. It's really sharp.
They'll be open tonight.
Absolutely.
And it says, I like what this says, Gary. It says, I don't know if you can tell it on television, but it says, "We own this." I think that pretty much sums it up, right? I mean, if you're University of Alabama, if you're part of the Crimson Tide, we own this. And the players that are dancing around inside Sun Life Stadium right now are wearing this, and they certainly deserve to wear it because they have owned it. They have these hats on too. You have your hat, Gary?
Well, I've got the stats, so
yeah.
I can tell you just how they've owned it in just a minute. I don't want to
put your hat on.
I think we're going to have to fix that bill.
Yeah, I'll have to. But we got so much to cover, but I still want to tell. I want to tell my little. I guess I got a bigger head than what I thought. I want to tell my story real quick. When Lynn and I were walking out here, Terry, hustling to get over here for the shot, we walked by two probably Notre Dame co-eds. Looked like they were 20, 21 years old. And Sweet Home Alabama cranks up, and one girl said to her girlfriend, "Get me the heck out of here."
They cannot stand it. A lot of Notre Dame fans were leaving in the third quarter.
Yeah, the walk of shame. Yeah,
they just
when it got to be 35-7, they started hitting the exits. You know,
and a lot of Notre Dame fans here. A lot.
Oh yeah.
The green, you definitely saw it in that stadium.
You did. They were large and in charge, and where our press box seats were, we were actually more or less in the Notre Dame section, and so at the beginning of the game, they were really loud. They let their presence be known, but you know, the air soon left the room when they or left the stadium when they started going down fast.
You guys want me to run down some of these numbers real quick?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Fantastic.
All right, I got thanks to again the great technology. As we've already talked about, you watched the game, so I mean you know what happened, but it was complete domination. I'm gonna take these off so I can see. Total net yards rushing. This is an amazing stat. This sums up the game. 265 yards net yards rushing for Alabama. 32 for Notre Dame. After that 350-yard performance against Georgia, they get 265 tonight. And you know, Notre Dame played hard. They gave their best shot, but they were just no match for that Alabama offensive line. Yards passing, 264 for Alabama, 270 for Notre Dame. They were throwing it every play, as you know, in the second half. Total offensive yards, 529 yards for Alabama against one of the best defenses in the country. That's just phenomenal. Every stat, you know, individual stats, and you've got Lacey with 140 yards, Yeldon with 108. They both go over 1,000 in the regular season. They both go over 100 in the SEC championship game, and they both go over 100 in the BCS national championship game. That is phenomenal. Listen to these numbers for A.J. McCarron: 20 of 28, 264 yards, 4 touchdowns. And for Amari Cooper, the freshman from Northwestern High School here in Miami, what a homecoming for him.
Wow.
6 catches, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So as you guys said, total, complete domination.
Well, and you talked, Gary, a few moments ago about how nobody really expected this, and after the SEC championship, which was a nail biter, to say the least.
Well, what it shows you, and to the SEC haters, it's a bitter pill. It shows you that Georgia and Alabama were both significantly better than Notre Dame. So is Texas A&M. Probably several other teams now that I think it's safe to say are better football teams than Notre Dame. But you know, you can only win so many games from the SEC. Having said this, and we're about to, I think, go to a break here, but Alabama's the best team in the country. Give A&M a lot of credit, and they might be the second best team, but the best team in the country is the national champion again, just like last year.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we are awaiting the press conference from head coach Nick Saban, who has a lot to celebrate tonight.